We have the economic committee now with John, the head of it. We're going to get more commercial here. I'm proud to be a part of it. In time, we're going to make up for that gap that the tax burden is on the residential properties now and things like that. We
But
just
Chris,
need
do you
to
see
be
the
proactive.
issue? If I could just, but I want to give you accurate information.
Sure, please.
Do you see the issue is different for us than it is for some of the communities?
Yeah. Chris,
In those towns,
there you go.
in New Jersey, each municipality has to have a budget where your revenues equal your expenditures. Unfortunately, in these other towns, their expenses are much higher than our revenues for various reasons. We're in a situation here, we've done some things conservatively with the budget, and our revenues do equal our expenditures, and we do comply with the law. These towns are not asking these employees for wage freezes and furloughs and givebacks because they want to keep the tax rate down. Unfortunately, what those articles do not talk about is most likely, I don't want to assume, but most likely all those towns.
Excuse me, but if we don't want to assume, we should make statements.
Well, I think the one article talks of, I forget which town it is, or having a 4.4% increase with all those cuts.
Each one of those towns are going to have tax increases
Yes.
and still ask their employees to give money back. They're not asking for the givebacks and the freezes to stop a tax increase. They're asking for those givebacks so that their budget is in compliance with the law.
Chris, and if I may, what the articles fail to mention also, Mike, is the fact that, for instance, let's take Pleasantville for an example. A number of those, if not all of those firefighters were hired through grant monies. Now, Pleasantville knew at some point in time that grant money was going to run out, and they were going to have to pick up the tab. That's what's happening.
Department also.
Also, some of those other municipalities, like Carver Township, for one, deferred their pension payment, and they were told not to hire last year or 2 years ago, that they'd be laying off in subsequent years. That's come to pass also. The article does not mention those facts, and I understand what your concern is because every day you're reading about all these givebacks. Those communities were told not to hire. They did. They took employees on grant monies, which they knew they would have to pick up at some point in time. They did. So now they're paying the piper, and it's all coming down, unfortunately, at the most inopportune time.
The other issue you raise, though, is a good one, and that is, in this economic climate, should employees be giving back things like health care and those types of expenses? And the answer, yes. That's why Mr. Barber goes to the negotiating table, and he's there right now to lead a contract with the bargaining units, but it's done at the table.
And it's not done unilaterally in these communities either. They're back working with their bargaining units to have that occur. Mr. Barber's doing that in negotiations he's having right now. He's trying to do whatever he can to save manpower, but at the same time save taxes.
And Mayor, that's a great point, because I want to explain to people how the legal process works as far as layoffs. I think where Mike is wrong and dead wrong is he's saying these other communities are cooperating with one another to try to reach the goal. In other words, if they were cooperating with each other, the layoff notices wouldn't have to go out in the first place, except for cap reasons.
Because the way the law is written is once you send out notices of layoffs, you're required by law to sit down with the unions and have the unions try to come up with some type of plan where they would give concessions rather than have the layoffs occur. So I think you hit the nail right on the head when you said Mr. Barber does that on a continuing basis with our police, our fire, our public works, and there's little give and take that allows us to be in this situation. We're in a better situation financially than all these other municipalities. So they're not sitting down because they're cooperating. They're sitting down because they didn't cooperate, and now they're forced to kind of draw a line in the sand.
And I think we are being proactive, Mike. I think just that committee that you and I are on shows that we are looking to try to help businesses. We are trying to, the more commercial development we have, the less impact we're going to have on the tax rate of the city. And I think this new CVS project that the mayor and I and several of the professionals and Jim Barber met with is going to have a tremendous impact on the city. We really look forward to that entire project coming to
That's
fruition.
true, John. I agree with you. And, you're pointing out technicalities, and I'm fine with that. We can look at it a lot of different ways. Nobody wants to hear that, well, we're going to give pink slips to 14 officers, but if you come back to the table, we'll save their jobs. Yeah, well, that's a tool, Tim. I agree with you, and I'm sure there's laws about it, and you're very good at it. You know I respect you as a lawyer. But there's underlying things here to really think about on how the community works together. We are spending money. We do need certain things. The fire truck needs to get fixed. We need this community center. We're going to spend money on the golf course. We are, whatever we're spending money
We're
on.
not going to spend money on the golf course. Golf course is going to spend their own money.
Again, Mayor, you're
Right.
correct, but you know what I'm saying, is
Right.
that budgets increase, and that's just the way it is. And as this occurs, and as we get through the budget process, we can look at it as a community, and everybody help. The private sector's income has gone down. The public sector, if they can bear with us, I don't want to see anybody lose their job. I do not. If they can bear with it and not get a raise for a year or two, hey, they buy the same groceries that I do. They have to pay the same utility bills. They have kids. I understand. But if we all can buckle down and cooperate with each other, we can get through any type of spending crisis we have and hold the taxpayers' burden down over these next couple of years. The good times are coming back. We all know that. I can't wait for the good times to get back because I enjoyed them greatly. I liked my lifestyle. And again, we could keep this in mind, and as a community, as we go forward, work as a community, work as a town, and work it out, we'll all benefit by keeping those expenses down and sharing the hits evenly. That's all I ask, and I thank you for your time, Council.
Thanks, Mike.
Mayor, let me tell you this. Mike, I think my book's bigger than yours, because I have all those articles plus a lot more. So,
Jim, yours is the last job in the world I'd ever put an application in for, trust me.
so it's not like we haven't been sitting following what's going on.
I know, Jim.
They-
I have no doubt you're a tough man, and you're a tough individual, and you're a tough negotiator. I have no doubt in my mind, and I have confidence in you for that.
Now, let me
It's
tell you
just this air of cooperation. I just get that feeling out of these articles, regardless of the technical points that the experts point out. I think they're realizing that, hey, we got to do this. That's what I'm getting.
And just so you and the public knows too, there's 4 contracts up this year. And I certainly cannot negotiate the contracts in public. But I did send a message to each of the bargaining units that there will be no settlement of contracts without some type of givebacks. We did settle the police union contract, and in that union, there were some givebacks. The other 3 that I'm negotiating with now, hopefully we're going to settle one of them tonight. There will be givebacks. And everyone we've been negotiating, we have told them, these will not be settled without some givebacks.
Well, that's great news, Jim. I appreciate that. Thank you very much, Council.
Thank you, Mike. Any other public comment? Mrs. Phillips?